because it showed me something very interesting. From 1 to 5, there's something that happened, right? From 6 to 12, something happened. From 13 to 20, something happened. We are products of our history, You will beg to differ with me, but that is the truth. If you are a lady and you were sexually abused by a man in a black suit, every time you see a man in a black suit, something is triggered in the inside of you. You get mad and people wonder, what is wrong with a man in a blue suit? It is the past, So we are products of our past, but we don't have to live in the past in order to get to the future. Somebody shout, I hear you.
I hear you.
See, I'm like a crazy combi guy, That's what I'm machine but you could die. Some it's name man of mane, utlaupa so sinzo to washela, utlaupa munna ali me wa palama indate. That wa palama me nkulu wa palama that protocols, and I'm going to do things which I believe work because I've been working this thing for 25 years. All right. So, I'm feeling I mean, that's what we want to do. We are here, we want to get things done. So I'm going to start by a very simple exercise. I want you to hold your head like this. I want you to hold your heart like this. I want you to stretch your hands like this. I want you to repeat the drill. All right, I want you to add an audio clip to that. Say my head, my heart, my hands. My head, my heart, my hands. You can do better. You can do better. You can do better. All right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You have done an amazing exercise. This is how life works. Everything you ever do starts as a seed in the head. It starts as a thought in the mind. So somebody, if they want you to do something, they throw a thought into your mind, right? Somebody shout, I hear you.
I hear you.
So when they throw a thought, you begin to process it. You begin to use your value system, which is based on your heart, which is based on your emotions, the soul man, right? Which is your intellect, which is your emotions, and which is your will. This is where it is done. Somebody shout, I hear you.
I hear you.
So when it is released in the mind, you filter it down and it gets to the heart. And when it is in the heart begins to send codes and say, in our value system, do we accept this or do we refute this? If we accept this, then it becomes our truth. And it has to be filtered to the engineers who get the job done, which are the hands. So it starts with the mind, it goes to the heart, and it goes to the hands. That is life, and that is what happens. In 5 minutes, I have simply explained to you how change takes place. I am here as an agent of change. I am here to provoke the good so that it becomes better. I'm here to shake and to kick your butt so that you can go to the next level. Tell your neighbor it's no longer going to be comfortable. The leader in you is about to rise. Thank you. You may be seated. I am so excited to be here at this learning. Because where I come from, a lot of our great men and women are alumni of this erstwhile institution. So I was here and I was looking and I was saying in my heart, I'm making history. I am stepping on hallowed ground because this is where the giants who propelled our nation to freedom and independence, they were born here. I'm talking about Dr. Stanley Mudenge. I'm talking about Dr. Edison Jobo. I'm talking about a number of great and illustrious sons of my country, Zimbabwe. So this is an amazing institution. You see, I'm very emotionally attached to it because of what it has done, not only to Zimbabwe, but to Africa as a whole. There is a time when this was the only other university besides Makerere in Uganda, which was allowing black men and women to achieve higher learning education. Somebody shout, I hear you.
I hear you.
So you gentlemen and ladies are privileged to be in this erstwhile organization, institution of higher learning, where giants like Tito Mboweni have been made, where great men like the late Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu have been through this institution in different capacities. Men have been made and women have been made in this great institution, and you sit here today in your capacity as leaders. And this is why I'm excited to be talking to you leaders, because leaders are not like everybody else. Leaders are different. Look at your neighbor and say, you are different.
You are different.
You better say it like you believe it. You better say it with conviction. Say, neighbor, you are different.
You are different.
You are a leader.
You are a leader.
And you are one of a kind.
You are one of a kind.
Because you are fearfully and you wonderfully made.
Because you are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Allow me this morning to salute the leader in you.
Allow me this morning to salute the leader.
Come on, clap your hands for yourself. You guys, you're awesome. You guys, you're awesome. And so, as leaders, we tend to drift from the paradigm of responsibility and love to dwell on the paradigm of rights. Say, I'm not that leader.
I'm not that leader.
You see, most people, when they talk about leadership, they think about the rights which are emancipated in their leadership roles. They want the perks, they want the dinner money if there is any such thing. They want the sitting allowance if there is any such thing. But the most important thing is that rights come with responsibility. Somebody shout, I hear you.
I hear you.
So what happens is that you are a leader and never apologize about being a leader. Now I want you to, in the next 2 minutes, I want you to write the names of 5 leaders whom you fancy, 5 leaders whom you respect, 5 leaders whom you honor. Just 5 names and I will be back. Just write 5 names quickly. I am so loaded and pregnant, I'm about to give back. Must push this thing out. The old type of a bullying center for. You know, those ones are very rare to find these days. Like Oma Supermajara in their heads. Like Oshakama. Of course, we see a little bit of swag in Okan Left Mkwela, you know. But we are a different breed. Trust me, my friend. Right.
Social media tech. I know.
Right. What did I not do right? All right. So, without much ado, ladies and gentlemen, I believe you're done, right?
Yes.
You see, can I hear 5 volunteers up front here? If you, yes, sir. Yes, I want five leaders. Please be in a hurry. Right. I said five. Five leaders. I want 5 leaders. Right. I want 5 leaders. Okay, yeah, should have come. It's okay. You can come number 6. Yeah. Right. You can come number 6. I just want you to hear this, my good friends, reading the names of their leaders. And I'm going to build a case. All right. I'm going to build a case. So, Chief, you're going to start. Moving from right to left. You see, I'm unorthodox. You see? Yes. I change every rule in the book, you know.
Okay. I have Professor Muzazi. He was a rector at TTC.
All right.
I have Mahatma Gandhi from India. Morena Mushweshwe. Lesotho. Nelson Mandela. South Africa. Mystic Zanyan.
All right.
Oh.
What is you?
Kim.
Wow, that's an honor, eh? You've earned the big man's respect. My sister.
Okay. The first one is my mother, because she's a single woman who raised me and made me who have come today. Ombediki, my grandmother, who was a chief. And that is very inspirational to me because she broke patriarchal barriers in the society.
I like that.
I have Uhuru Tebo Walastumona Ananisa Pula. And then I have Simone de Beauvoir, who was a feminist. I have Michelle Obama. I liked how she supported her husband and helped him be where he is.
This feminist thing is in you, my dear. You and me, we should have a pep talk, one-on-one.
Yes.
All right. My leader.
I have Solomon Mashangu, radical political.
Oh, Solomon Mashangu. PAC.
I have Steve Biko.
And you.
Definitely. I have Dr. Mutwahai Thomas Kamara.
Le Papa.
Yes. I have Robert Mugabe.
Yes.
I have
Angubo.
I have Chamisa.
Oh, Nelson.
Nelson Chamisa.
Hi, that one is the tsunami. That
Oh, thank you very much. I have Julius Malema.
wow.
Yes.
So, Muduamuru. Oh, you know, today is my friend. Tell him you met Doc.
Dr. Cruz.
Yes, sir. Oh, Karakabli. Okay.
Bakaritam Cecilia.
Oh.
Emmanuel Macron, President of France.
Wow, this young man. Are you following them? Yeah.
I have sorry, W. Bush.
The man who goes to the Gulf War.
Yes.
Okay.
I have Vladimir Putin.
You also have Idi Amin and Adolf Hitler.
No. I have Abuel Rahman.
Yes.
I have Benjamin Franklin. And also
Okay.
have Mohammed Gaddafi.
Yeah.
Oh, Muhammad Gaddafi.
So these people have mentioned most of my
Mention yours, your five.
That's true.
First of all, I'll go for Bakari Tamasisi. Then I'll go for Sanna Marin. She's the first Prime Minister of Finland, female. And I'll go for Malema, yes. Then I think the fourth one would be Nelson Mandela. And the last one, I don't know if it's Biko or
We are listening.
Yes, I'll choose the bigger as the fifth one.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right, that's very interesting. Zoe. Zoe. Can you please come? So you have get the leaders here with you? So, can you give these leaders a big hand? One of the key characteristics of a leader is courage. I said, can leaders come to the front? And they came. You understand? A leader does not wait to be invited. And a leader does not wait to be given permission. If you think you are a leader, then you must lead. You understand? And don't apologize for being a leader. But I have something against all these leaders except her. And to an extent, I still have something against her as a leader. Here is my story, ladies and gentlemen. When we talk about a leader, the familiar paradigm or mindset is to think of a person in an influential position. Isn't that right? From my school of leadership, the Coach Ted School of Leadership, you are the first leader I expected you to nominate. Is that understandable? Because you see, you are a leader. You are not becoming a leader. You are a leader. Did you hear that? You are a what? You are a leader. You see, because what you tell yourself that you are, that's what you portray to other people. Is that clear? So you must believe that the first leader you know is you. Are we clear on that? I just want to make this very, very clear. I'll repeat this. You are the first leader whom you know. Are we clear? Because you've spent 24/7 hours with you. Isn't that right? And you know your fears, you know your aspirations. Leaders are not perfect people. Did you hear that? Leaders are not perfect what?
People.
Leaders are people, but they have made up their mind to lead. That's what sets them apart. What sets a leader apart is a mindset. And I just want to dispel the notion that leadership is a position. It is not. A position is the first level of leadership. Actually, it's the lowest level of leadership. Somebody said it yesterday, I'm going to make it better today. Somebody said that leadership is not a position. I agree with that. And they went on to say leadership is influence. Isn't that right? These are the words originally coined by Warren Bennis. Then they were modified by John Maxwell. All right. By the grace of God, I happen to have been coached by John Maxwell at some stage of my life. So I am from there. Yes, some of the leadership gurus you think are big boys, they have been my personal mentors. And so I love leadership. I breathe leadership. You cut my blood is saying leadership. All right. So I want you to understand that there are so many players in the leadership fraternity, you know, like the mojo guy. What got you here will not take you there, you know. How to lose your mojo and how to get it back. You understand? So I want you to understand this very important truth. You are a leader. Raise your right hand and say, I'm a leader.
I am a leader.
All of you, raise your right hand and say, I'm a leader.
I'm a leader.
Say, I'm a leader.
I am a leader.
and leaders get the job done.
And leaders get the job done.
You see, that's it. The most important thing about a leader is that a leader is there to solve problems. Did you hear that? So when there are problems, President, remind me your name again. Yes, President Dumo, right? When there are problems from the students, you should say, wow, it's a good day in the office. Because they are making you do what you are born to do. You are born to lead. So if there are no problems, what are you solving? Nothing. Isn't that right? So the number one role of leaders, I want you never to forget this, is to solve problems. Leaders solve problems. And leaders should never be part of a problem. When I come and things were not working, I say, thank God I came. Now things are going to work because I am a leader. And as a leader, I solve problems. That is it. That's what leaders do. That's what leaders do. They solve problems. So they feed on problems. You see, problems are the breakfast of champions. When there are problems, it's time for me to shine. You understand? Don't take away problems because you make me irrelevant. Like the VC rightly said, we are a university because we have students. And if you are the VC, every person here is your problem. Do you understand that? Because you see, when you're a leader, if you are leading one person, it means you have one problem. If you are leading 10 people, it means you have 10 problems. Is that understood? So a leader has to solve problems. Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give them a big hand. Okay. I just want us to watch a small video clip. It's about 2 minutes, if not less than that. I just want to reinforce and buttress my point, right? I want you to see something about leadership. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. You see? Watch this. Watch this. I rest my case. You see, that's what we call leadership. I just want you to understand something about leadership. According to John C. Maxwell, there are 5 levels of leadership. 5 levels of leadership. I want us to go through them like lightning right now. I want you to draw a triangle and compartmentalize it into 5 segments so that we move as fast as possible. I said I'm pregnant, I need to give birth. I need to download some serious information here so that when you see me next time around, you will say Metapilitumela. Yes. So can you do that? Mamma mia, Santa Maria. Muchas gracias, mia pere. Ratadina. Right. I'm so excited. You guys, you don't know. I've been hungry, waiting for this day to come. Waiting for this day to come. Have you done the 5 segments?
Yes.
Okay. At the bottom, I want you to level position. I want you to level position. The final segment at the basement, right? I want you to level it what? Position. At the next level, I want you to level it permission. I want you to level it permission. Number 3, which is the middle segment, I want you to level it production. Reproduction. Production. All right. These are the 5 levels of leadership, ladies and gentlemen. At table number 4, I want you to level it. Reproduction. Reproduction. I said leaders are not like followers. Leaders are multipliers. If I educate you guys as leaders, you've got many followers. You understand? Go and share this stuff. Go and teach this stuff to the next guy. Is that understandable? When you teach followers, followers add. But when you teach leaders, leaders multiply. Is that understandable? That's why you see, when you want to deal with institutional unrest, you target a leader, not the follower. Once you cut the leader, there is nothing that will happen. You see, without leadership, nothing ever happens. That's why John Maxwell says, all things rise and fall with leadership. As a business consultant, if I am hired to come and bring a difference to an organization and the business is about to close, the first thing that I will recommend is that fire the CEO, because things rise and fall with leadership. Isn't that true? If the CEO was good, why is the organization down? Do you understand? True that. You know, sometimes we want to throw pity parties for each other, but you see, life has to be based on meritocracy, right? If you've got the stuff, get it done. If you don't have it, let somebody kick your butt and you're out of place. It's the way it is. All right. All right, sorry for that little bit of French. All right. All right. But it wasn't so deep, right? All right. So I said there are 5 levels of leadership. I said number 1, it is called position. I said number 2, it is called permission. I said number 3, it is called production. I said number 4, it is called reproduction. I know it as young people, this is your favorite area, reproduction. Reproduction. Have you ever seen how young people at the age of 12, when you introduce them to sex, they don't know what to do? It's mind-blowing. Right. On the top is what we call the pinnacle. Is the pinnacle, right? So you see, everything about these levels of leadership is P, except for number 4, which is reproduction. Did you hear that? So let me just, in 3 minutes, explain how this thing works, right? Hey, I've got so much to download. You see, remember, you are a leader, and you are not apologizing for being a leader. Is that understandable? When people say, congratulations, you are a leader, don't say, oh, no. Oh, thank you, my brother. I have to assure you, I am doing the best that I know how. You understand? Don't look down upon your office. Is that understandable? And don't apologize for who you are. Are you here or have you gone home?
Yeah.
All right. So level 1 is a position. It is a position. A position, you operate it on the basis of the locus standi, which is basically your status quo. Isn't that right? You have people come to your office because you have the position that says you must sign documents. People come to your office not because they recognize you as their leader, but because the institution recognizes you as a leader. Is that clear? So it's the very lowest level, and sadly this is where a lot of people die. They die at leadership position, which is level 1, right? We've got a lot of territorial leaders. In fact, I have seen in Africa, we've got so many practitioners of leadership witchcraft. You know what's a leadership witch or wizard? He is a leader who doesn't develop others. They build systems around themselves. When they do not come to work, everything else goes to a standstill. Look at your neighbor and say, stop being a witch.
Stop being a witch.
Pass it on. Yes, you must pass it on. You understand? You must what? Pass it on. That's what you must do. So I said there are 5 levels. Number 1 is position, which is by appointment, which is by legal authority or statute, right? You see, we greet the Vice Chancellor not because he is our leader initially. Initially, we greet him because his position demands that he must be respected. Is that understandable? And so, what has to happen is that as a leader, you must always aspire to go to the next level. That's why I have got a radio series called Next Level is a Reality. You understand? And also I've got a newspaper column called Next Level is a Reality. Because in my world, nothing is static. Something is always happening. Everything is always moving. You see, because if something is not moving, it's like stinking water. Stinking water, when it is static, it sucks. You don't want to be like stinking water. If you are not growing, you are dying. And if you are dying, you are stinking. Leaders are readers. Leaders, they grow every day. Every day is a learning day. So I want to take you to number 2. Number 2, I said, is leadership permission. Leadership permission is what a lot of people call influence, right? And let me define influence for you in very simple English. Influence is the ability to make people do the right thing. Isn't that simple?
Very simple.
That's influence. If she wants to quit school, and I sit her down, I say, baby girl, I see you as the first lady Prime Minister of Lesotho. I see potential in you. I see books that have yet to be written. I see organizations that have to be started. Please don't quit, because school is your ticket to greatness. I am influenced here. She doesn't quit, and she then begins to pursue the blueprint I have shared with you. That's permission, which I've created, right? Because now, tomorrow when I come to her and I want to correct here something that she has done wrongly, and I say, baby girl, what's your name again? Ritabile. Baby girl, Ritabile, you know, I think you're missing it this time. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Ritabile will listen to me because I have invested in her. Do you understand? When you are a leader, you must build influence deliberately and intentionally. That's what happens at level 2. You influence people positively. You look at people and, you know, sometimes they're having a bad day. You know, some people are married to wives which are not wives, who are knives. You understand? And when they are sleeping, instead of having a good night's sleep, they are getting the elbow. And you know, when they come to college or when they come to work, they are saying, thank God I have left that witch at home. And you know, what they need is a good word. You understand? A kind word is a healing word. Do you know that? Kindness is a healing therapy in an amazing manner. Say, oh, you are looking gorgeous, my brother. You're looking great. And suddenly you begin to pick yourself up. You understand? What am I doing? I am inspiring you. As I'm inspiring you, I'm influencing you. Is that clear?
Definitely.
And when I have influenced you, tomorrow I can come with a little nudge. You will hear me because I have said something right about you before. The problem we have, the challenge we have with you leaders, is that you do not invest in people. You understand? And then you expect them to do right things. That's why, Madam Director, I salute you that you have brought these leaders here and I'm teaching them leadership. Now, after I've taught leadership like this, you have the right to demand for them to be better leaders because they've been equipped. You understand? You see, you cannot give what you do not have.
Definitely.
Doesn't matter how much I like you, if you meet me in the streets and say, give me 10K, if I don't have it, I will not give it to you. You understand? So now you equip people and you make them ready to lead better. You understand? So second level, it is leadership permission. And when I have influenced you in good things, you begin to trust me for more things. Isn't that right? Then we move to the next level of a leader or leadership, which is called production Production is whereby you begin to become a trailblazer or a bulldozer. As a leader, you begin to come up with new concepts, and everybody in the SRC begins to say, wow, if you want communication sorted, go to Minister so and so, and they know the thing gets done. You begin to be so outstanding and excellent in what you do, so that people see that where they have placed you, which is what we call your niche, you are super productive. You understand? Is the third level of leadership. But the key breaker of leadership is level 2, influence. Because with influence, I can go anywhere. Do you see that? I can soar, I can fly, I can run, I can jump. Number 4 is leadership reproduction. This is where you begin to take people under your wings and you begin to replicate your model. You understand? This is how we lead. You see, this is how we do it. We do it like this, we do it like that, and you say to people, do it also. Is that understandable? So that's why people respect mentors, to the point that they almost disqualified Obama from becoming American president simply because of a mentor. They said his mentor hates white people. White people, they said he hates whites. Because they could not pin anything on Obama. I like Obama. You know, Obama is not a human being, he's a phenomenon. He's a happening. You understand? So Obama, the other time, because of the power of a vision, a leader must have a vision. He went to the UK and there are red robot places there. What are red robot places? This is where they do sexual indulgence. You know, you just enter a hotel and you just target a woman and you say, let's do this thing, and then pah, it happens. So they took Obama to such a place. And Obama, when he recognized that this is where he is, he said, guys, take me home. That's one scandal he avoided, which would have costed him the presidency. Because in the first world, they have CCTV everywhere. You know that? They were going to extract that clip, and Obama is busy, you know, being carnal with that other woman. And then they say, is this the kind of president America wants? And you would have been disqualified. But thank God for the power of focus that Obama was focused. So number 4 is leadership reproduction. Leaders produce after their own kind. Is that clear? Number 5 is where we call the leadership pinnacle, where you become an authority figure. You understand? Like right now, if we were to say Lesotho is in dispute and Nelson Mandela was alive, and he would say, Lesotho, stop that. It doesn't matter which politician was hearing this in Lesotho, they will stop their nonsense and their shenanigans. You know that? Why? Because Nelson Mandela sits at the very top of leadership, right? And that level is called the pinnacle of leadership. That's why as Coach Ted, what I normally do is I have written a book called Success and Attitude, right? It's a book which has been used by so many organizations and companies. I hope, Madam Director, we may talk about that book because it's what I call the attitude adjuster, right? So what I do when I do my seminars, I always end with these words. Success is an attitude. Let us meet at the top. Where is the top? The top is the pinnacle, right? The top is where you become Piliapi, numero uno, the number 1, first of the first and best of the best. That's where the top is. So at the top, that's where the master leaders are. Is that understandable? You become a level 5 leader. You become a level what?
5 leader.
Do I have any questions so far? Talk to me, baby boys. Talk to me, baby girls. I'm here at your service. Okay. If there are no questions, can I go a little bit deeper? I was laying a foundation. Can I go a little bit deeper? I just want to show you something here, and you're going to help me by answering me what it is, right? Mamma mia, mamma mia. Right. The mapping of a leader. Right. So today, my focus is on the making of a transformational leader, right? I heard the VC what he said. He said, let's bring back the glory days. Did you hear that? Let's bring back the glory days. And I am very, very happy that he wants to bring back the glory days. And you know, in life, you must stand for something. Is that understandable? I'm going to show you some leaders. You're going to tell me their names and what they stand for. Is that okay?
Yes.
As a leader, you must stand for what?
Something.
Because if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. Is that understandable? If you don't know where you are going, every road will lead you there. Just like I give you a car with a full tank and I say go somewhere, I tell you somewhere is anywhere and anywhere is nowhere. You understand? You'll be just going until you got an empty tank. Right. So a leader must stand for what?
Something.
Right, for something. Here we go. Who's that?
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King Jr., right? Oh, what do you remember him for? Yes, what do you remember him for? You are scholars, right?
I remember him for black excellence.
Yes, sir.
He was fighting for black people in
Blackness.
America.
He was fighting for black people, yes and no. What was Martin Luther King fighting for?
Liberation.
Quality.
Equality, that's right. So you see, equality means the black people are involved and the white people are involved. I have a dream that one day the son of the slave and the son of the former slave owner will come together and will be recognized for the value and the content of their character, not the color of their skin. He was talking equality. You understand? Because you see, we've got to be careful because we can actually love reverse racism. Do you know that?
Yes.
Yes. Mahua wena. Wena man, it's So it's very important that we understand that God created us all equal, right? There is no better race, there is no better person. We are all created in the image of God. Created he, them, male and female. In his image did he create them. Right. And God did not create poor people. Did you hear what I just said?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh. What did I just say?
God did not create poor people.
And you know I'm saying the truth, right? And God did not create rich people. Because you see, if you read my favorite book, it says the rich and the poor, they have this in common. The Lord God created them both. It doesn't say he created them so. It says he created them what? Both. So what did he create? He created people. People are poor because of their decisions.
Thank you very much.
People are rich because of their what? It's all about decisions.
Thank you.
Look at your neighbor and say, you are responsible for where you are.
You are responsible for where you are.
And you are responsible for what you have.
You are responsible for what you have.
And you are responsible for what you're becoming.
And you are responsible for what you are becoming.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know, we love criticizing other people. We love pulling other people down. But the greatest enemy we have is you. You see, when you say others, you are pointing at them with one finger. 3 hands are pointing at you. One is saying God is the witness. Say, it's them. One is saying it's them, right? But 3 are saying, but it's you. You see, no man has the power to pull you down unless you allow them to.
Thank you.
Nobody has power to pull you down except if you allow them to. So you see, can I illustrate this point? Come, the Secretary General, come. Come. I would have said you, but you are a bit smaller. I want the big boy. So you see, I want us to be on a collision course. What I'm going to do, I'm going to allow him to walk from that end, and I'm going to meet him halfway through, and I'm going to do a shoulder charge on him. Just want to illustrate a principle, right? Come on. What happened?
He just swept.
I flinched.
What did you do about it?
Nothing.
So in life, you are responsible for what you do. You are not responsible for what others do to you. But you are certainly responsible for how you respond. You've got a choice for people to put you down or to lift you up. The choice is entirely yours. Thank God for that. You see, because he could have chosen to say, oh, why have you said that? That's what I was looking for. Isn't that right? So by ignoring me, he made me look stupid. That's why I believe that success is 90% attitude and 10% aptitude. So which means even without aptitude, you can still succeed. Do you see that? You can still succeed with having a good attitude. You see, they say attitude is all you have and is what you carry everywhere you go. You understand? A bad attitude is like a flat tire on a car. It will not get you anywhere until you decide to change it. Somebody shout, I hear you.
I hear you.
Oh, you guys. That was Martin Luther King, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let us go to the next guy. Mamma mia, mamma mia. So, let's go to the next guy. Who is this?
Nelson Oliver.
What do you know him for?
I have fought for great.
Freedom fighter, right? Oh, you know what to do his voice. Wow! I like that. Have you read this book, The Long Walk to Freedom? Ah. Yeah, I like it when he says after conquering a lot of obstacles, and he realized that when he thought he was on top of the mountain, there were many more mountains to climb. And that's the story of leadership. Do you know that?
Definitely.
Leadership, you never finish. you die leading. The leaders, they never stop leading. They just redirect where they lead from. Once a pirate, always a pirate. Right, so that's Mandela there for you. And do you know that there is something we don't talk about Nelson Mandela? Nelson Mandela did not know how to manage a woman.
Yes. Yes.
But does it matter?
It doesn't. It does.
No, it doesn't matter. Because he's still great without a woman.
Thank you very much. Tango.
So here is the principle. Here is the principle. Here is the principle. You've got to hear this, right? You see, the law of focus says this. Whatever you focus on grows, and whatever you neglect dies. You see, when I was doing science, I was told that the sun is the hottest element on the planet of the earth. And you know, you can melt if you get towards the sun, right? But here is what I discovered. When the sun is at its hottest and you put a piece of paper in the atmosphere, the piece of paper will take 10 years before it burns. But when you look at what we call the parabolic mirror, and you put a similar piece of paper underneath it, after 10 seconds, the paper burns from a less and a low level of power. What is the difference? It's focus. The rays of the parabolic mirror are focused on the paper, and therefore the paper will catch the fire and it will burn. Do you understand? So here is the secret in life. So many of you as leaders, there are things you don't like about yourselves, and you keep focusing on those things. Stop that nonsense and start focusing on what you would like to see. Do you hear me? What you keep looking at, You are exactly becoming that.
Thank you very much.
So I just used the Mandela illustration so that we could see. He never really focused on these relationships with women much. He kept focusing on his role as a statesman, and man, he did it to perfection. In Africa, living power. You know, somebody, was it you, who was talking about the age limits being changed in politics yesterday? And is he right?
Yes.
It's you. All right. You know, isn't it is interesting? The politicians, they vote and they say we all should retire at 60 or 65. But at 8 years, they want to be prime minister. Isn't that interesting? All right, we're moving on.
The leadership that's
Oh, I missed one.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Do you know the story of Mahatma Gandhi, you guys? I like you to know the story of Mahatma Gandhi because you are student union leaders, right? Or student representatives. You see, the story of Mahatma Gandhi is one of the most inspirational stories of leadership which you ever learn. Mahatma Gandhi, what made him a leader is a very simple incident. His father was a poor man and they were raised in a very poor family. There were so many, as is typical with Asian families. And one day he decided to steal some money and he stole the money, which was the last family money, and he bought some cigars and he smoked the cigars. Now, when the father came back from work, he needed to use that money for something very important in the home, and he called the children. Did you take this money? I didn't. Did you take this money? I didn't. Did you take this money? I didn't. Then he knew by instinct that Mahatma had stolen that money, although he was not a thief. So he said, my father looked at me with his intense eyes, which were so deep. They were so deep with compassion. And when he looked at me, he said, son, did you take that money? Mahatma Gandhi said, I said, no, I didn't. He said, my father looked at me, and as he looked at me, he started crying. He said, as he started crying, I also started crying. And I broke down, and I said, Dad, I am sorry. That is the day Mahatma Gandhi became a leader. And that's when he realized that it's not about force. Because this one, I didn't beat him. Didn't beat him. He just looked at him and said, I'm so disappointed. Why? Why are you refusing what you did? And as the father cried, the son started crying. So that's why he is the only man in the history of the world to go to a war, as far as I'm concerned, that is. And he never actually went to a real war. He mobilized India. And he said, we are marching for our independence. No gunshot was fired. No stone was thrown. You understand? The power, when you mobilize your numbers, you guys, you have the real power. You understand? Your power is not in wanton destruction of property. Your power is not in military, senseless violence. But your power is in standing steadfastly as the rock of Gibraltar and say, we are not moving an inch until this matter is dealt with. When you are as assertive as that, leadership will not know what to do with you. And even the community will sympathize with you. You understand? But the moment you begin to belittle yourselves to levels of people who are not literate and do some funny things, you know, you are taking away your power. Your real power is in standing and remaining standing and being assertive, even in the face of an onslaught. Mr. President, do you hear me, sir? That's where your power is. That's where your power is. That's why they say the pen is mightier than the sword. Because you see, when you use it like that, the VC and his team will say, come guys, let's talk. How do we resolve this impasse? You know, you come every day, you don't insult nobody. You just stand your position. If you want something done, you have it on the placard. You're not insulting anybody. You get the point? The press, you call them, you mobilize them, you know, you put them to order because you've got to do that. That is leadership at this level, right? And you show them, say, okay, this is it. They cannot say you insulted some authorities because you did it. But you are standing for your constituency because you also have a mandate, isn't that right? To represent the needs of these your people. And when you do that, I tell you, you cause a system shift. The system will never become the same again. There is, ladies and gentlemen, always another way of getting things done. Now, who will be that? You see, Robert Mugabe is one of the greatest leaders the world has ever known, but he became a victim of the economic power of the Western society. I took a long time to study and to understand him. Robert Mugabe is one of the most selfless politicians you would ever come across. Selfless. His unbecoming or undoing became his obsession with power. He became so power-drunk to the point that everything was about power. But he is a man who really and truly loved the people. That's why history will be kind to him. Because he is the man who led the only African country to take back its land from the colonialists. You know, and why was he persecuted? Because it is a bad precedent to the rest of the Western world. Do you understand? Can you imagine if South Africa would take its land? Can you imagine if Zambia would take its land? Can you imagine if every African country would say, no, this is our land? Listen, I say this with all due respect. England belongs to the English. England has ever sued to another. It's a fact. No emotional attachment to this, no sentiment, but saying it the way it is. So you see, when you want to see the importance of land, even when God wants to bless people, God doesn't give money. Did you know that? I'm messing up with your religion right there. God, when he wants to bless people, he doesn't give people money. He gives them real estate. That's the only inheritance God will give you. You know why? Because the land produces everything. So Mugabe's cause is that he decided to claim what was rightfully for his people. And when he did that, the whole system of colonialism came back. And he started demonizing him. You know, do you know that you believe what you hear about politicians on radio? But who owns the radio? And so the person who owns the radio controls what you hear. I liked what the VC said about Ted Turner, the CNN founder, right? That he said, okay, let us not censor news. Let people go and fight. I like that part. Because that's true news. Do you understand? So Robert Mugabe, like him or not, he will forever be a hero. He is not perfect, but who is perfect? Show me a leader who is perfect. I'll tell you their weakness. Yes, show me one who is perfect. I'll shock you. All right. So, who is that leader? Piliapi. Right. So, Mopere Mushoshe was a master leader and a master strategist. We have read so many stories of how Shaka tried to attack him, how Mzilikazi tried to attack him, and he outmaneuvered them in his Mount Tawawusi, right? Until they were tired and he said, you are hungry, go home. Ingan dikomo, Ritsama Roja. and they never came back. That's leadership. He solved the security problem, didn't he? Because instead of fighting Ashaka Zulu every month or every weekend, he just said, that's what leaders do. You guys, come on. And he built a nation. Because Lesotho, once upon a time, you were not a nation. You were a collective of tribal clans, right? This, that. And this wise man came along and he said, I will make these people into one thing. I will make them a nation. This is why we say, right? He's the father of Lesotho. Why? Because his grandfather made Lesotho. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
So you got to see what dimension did this man bring to leadership. So he brought stability. Do you know there is no prosperity without stability? It's because there is stability. If we bring 98, how long? You understand? So it's very, very important that we understand what a leader brought. I'm building my case. Stay with me, don't go away, right? I'm building my case. What did this leader bring? Okay, another leader. Captain, my captain. There is something that is very interesting. Thomas Sankara and Martin Luther King, they died at the same age. Did you ever notice that? Born in 1949, Thomas Sankara was murdered in 1987. They were in their 30s, right? Yes. Martin Luther King died at 38, 39, Thomas Sankara 37, 38, thereabout. What do you remember Thomas Sankara for? Liberation, right? He liberated which country? No, Burkina Faso. Right, and he was killed by his best friend. That should tell you something about leadership.
Yeah.
Judas Iscariot was Jesus' cousin. Yes. You should know the names of the Bible. You understand? Judas and Jesus,
My
they
cousin.
were from the tribe of Judah. You understand? Judah has the surname and the lineage of Jesus. So these guys were cousins. You understand? And he is the guy who sold Jesus out. In heaven, the devil was the covering cherub. Just to feel the emotions, just to feel the intensity, just feel the excitement, just feel the appreciation, feel the love, feel the warmth, just enjoy yourself. What a day it was. Oh, goodness me. Keep connecting to that day. Keep connecting to that day. Keep connecting to that day. Because that day is an amazing day. It's an amazing day.